Well, happy Thursday to you. I wanted to shift gears a little bit today and talk about growth. Now, AI will be part of this conversation, but what are the 8 major hurdles that geospatial companies face when it comes to growth? And I've reflected on my career. I've worked for both GIS companies and remote sensing companies of various sizes, and there is a certain pattern that I've noticed within each of those organizations. In many cases, growth is static in those organizations, and the senior leadership are always looking to build growth within the company. But so what have I noticed? What are the 8 things? Number 1, business models. Most of the organizations I've worked for are service companies. That is a very difficult model to scale, as many have found. Sales cycles are long. There's a lot of relationship management that goes on. So a service-oriented model is a tough model to build on growth. Number 2 is having a reactive versus proactive staff. If you are a service-oriented organization, most of your staff are focused on being reactive. That is, deliverables. They're not really focused on looking for opportunities, looking for better ways to do things. It's always pressure on to deliver. So you have a mindset challenge there when you have a service-oriented staff as well as a service-oriented business model. So that's number 2. Number 3, business innovation. We hear a lot about innovation on the technical side, but we really don't hear a great deal about innovation on the business side. And I'll argue that we're in this phase of what I call Geospatial 2.0, where we have these new opportunities. We've got LiDAR, we've got all these different new sensors that are collecting 2D, 3D, and 4D data. We have this tsunami of data and AI to process that data. So we've got the technology there, but from a commercial perspective, my belief is we're still in Geospatial 1.0. We haven't moved beyond the old way of thinking, and we don't have organizations, don't have growth-focused staff internally. Now, again, I've worked in organizations that have struggled with this, and they've tried to use existing staff who are reactive, service-oriented staff to try and fill in that vacuum, and they're not skilled enough to be able to do that. You need very specific skill sets to be able to do that. People that think in a certain way. So a complete lack of growth-oriented staff, even an individual within the organization is lacking. Those that understand the concepts of design thinking, those that are out in the marketplace looking for those opportunities, exploring with customers if there are pain points that can be solved with the technology you've got or new technology that you know about. So that's number 3. Number 4, product development. A lot of companies that are service oriented are now looking to build products, and I've worked for a number of them. And quite often that evolution to a product focused world is a tough transition, fraught with lots of challenges. And in many cases, I've seen these organizations fail. They have MVPs they can't get off the shelf because they've been designed by the technical folks without the commercial team being involved. So the whole evolution to successful product development requires a very different mindset and a very different staff mix. So there's the next one. Technology led. I still find that organizations often approach me that have that mindset, if we build it, they will come. They've forgotten all about the fact that this cool technology they think is a winner from their perspective, may not be a winner from customers' perspective. So they leave the go-to-market strategy, the sales and marketing piece until the end. And then they come to folks like me and ask, well, you're very well connected. Can you connect us to the right people for our product? Without ever having built out the core pieces that really make up that evolution to success. And again, I talk a lot about this sort of geospatial growth triad, which is, opportunity discovery. That's the design thinking piece, the understanding the marketplace, the pain points, etc. The go-to-market strategy. How are you going to win? Where are you going to win? Who are you going after? What are their pain points? What stories should be telling? What's your value proposition? All those good things. And then the actual execution of sales and marketing. So technology-led companies have never thought through that stuff. They led by the technology and hope that others find what they think is an attractive solution attractive. So there's the next one. Let's move into that world of sales. A lot of the companies organizations I've worked with and helped are very sales-led. In fact, in many cases, they don't even have a marketing department. If they do, it's very small and doesn't get a great deal of respect from the sales team. So how do they sell today? A lot of these sales-led companies rely on these existing relationships. That's okay to continue with flat revenues, but if you want to grow, you need to find new opportunities. When you're focused in your existing verticals, your existing relationships, you're really not exploring outside of that world. So growth is really, really difficult. And I've heard it for a million times from sales staff about how they can best, their focus is really milking more out of their existing relationships instead of having that ability to look elsewhere. So there's another challenge. Value proposition. Quite often, this is kind of a weird one. I don't hear people talking about their value proposition. They're not even quite clear what it is. But when they are clear about it, they struggle to communicate it. That's both sales and marketing. And so often they fall back on using technology and technological explanations to their customers, which really doesn't appeal to a very wide audience. So that communication thing is absolutely critical. The last and the eighth one in this is one that I cannot tell you how often I've seen this. I've spoken at length to folks about this, is the disconnect between sales, marketing, and product. There seems to be this sort of vacuum between these groups, that they're not mingling together. They're not discussing and collaborating together on this path forward. So as a consequence, the go-to-market strategy is weak at best, and its execution is poor. So that's it. Those are the eight reasons that I've seen in my career, and things that I correct now in my work as to why geospatial companies are struggling to grow. And I would add as a final point, we are now in a time of extraordinary opportunity with the new data we've got with AI. So an approach such as what I just mentioned, this triad, Geospatial Growth Triad, which is really a framework to build out your growth, leveraging AI to help you build that stuff out, is critical. So if you're interested to learn more, I'll link to an ebook we've written, which really talks about this triad and the components of that. And also join our newsletter or sign up for the newsletter. Again, I'll provide a link to that as well. We talk about this stuff there as well. So, my goal is to help organizations grow and to get past some of these barriers that they've faced and to really accelerate into the future, leveraging everything that's new in geospatial. So again, if you like this talk, feel free to follow me on LinkedIn or YouTube, wherever you're watching this. If you don't agree, if you do agree, I always like comments. I always like people giving me feedback on this stuff. It gives me more to think about as I do these talks. So again, thanks very much for watching.